समारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे। ओम श्री हयग्रीवाय नमः। ओम श्री वल्लभा समेत श्री महागणाधिपतये नमः। So we are still in the topic of samvidah Atmatva-upapattih. So in this, the last discussion was that whether there is anything called this dharma bhuta jnanam. Means we say that it is apramanikam, means there is no pramana to say that there is dharmi jnanam and dharma bhuta jnanam, like that two jnanas are there. Even in our siddhanta, even though we talk about swarupa jnanam and vritti jnanam, the vritti jnanam is only aupacharikam, because the vritti itself is jada, it is manovritti. So that was the discussion. And also there was a discussion whether when we say that jnana lights up or shines, whether it is lighting itself for the sake of itself or for the sake of somebody else. So one of the things which was said is, if it is lighting it up for somebody else, then it cannot be self-aware, correct? Like the deepa, it is jada still. So that argument was still there. And so based on that, now the Purva Pakshi is asking, Nanu yadi anyasmai vishayam prakashayati iti hetoho yadi vritti jnanam jadam iti uchyate. So since this vritti jnanam is lighting up things for the sake of something other than itself, and for that reason we say that it is jadam, then what is the implication? They are saying, Tarhi swasmai prakasham prakashayati, swasmai vishayam prakashayati iti hetoho atmak swarupa jnanasya jnanatvam iti agatam. So they are saying, so that means the implication is that if something reveals or shines on something for its own sake, okay, swasmai vishayam prakashayati. So the object of cognition is lighted up for one's own sake. Because of that reason, the Swarupa Jnana, correct, which is Atma we claim, also will get Jnanatvam. Because if it is lighting it up for somebody else, then we say it is Jada. But since it is lighting it up for itself, for the sake of itself, then it is not Jada. It will not have Jadatvam, but it will have Jnanatvam. Okay, that is what Purva Pakshi is saying. And he is saying, Nacha Ishtapattihi, that is not desirous for us, okay, are desirable. So, Tvad Anishtam Nyatritvam Veva Sampraptam Atmanaha iti. So, we do not want this Jnanatvam in Atma, which will make it a knower, he is saying. So, even according to whatever you are saying, the Swarupa Jnana Atma will become a Jnata, will become a knower. So, that's what you are ending up with, which is not desirable to you. Like this, the Purva Pakshi is saying, it's not like that. We don't, or you have not understood it correctly. Ma evam, why? Na vayam atma swarupa jnanam swasmai vishayam prakashayati iti hetoho jnanam brumaha. So here, see, when we say Atma is jnana swarupaha swayam jyotihi, correct? This swayam jyotihi has to be understood properly. Swayam jyotihi is not due to the fact that Atma objectify itself. Correct? Atma becomes a Vishaya for itself, not in that manner. Correct. In fact, Atma is aprameyaha, we say, because it is never a Vishaya. It is always the Nyatri Swarupa, we say. That's why it cannot make itself a Vishaya also. So Vishaya Prakashakatvam is not what we are talking about, because of which only this Atma is Jnana Swarupa. In fact, the Swayam Jyotihi means it is shining by itself. That is its very nature. That's it. There is no question of Atma lighting anything up for its own sake. It is similar to, already we have seen this analogy, correct? The sun by its very nature is bright, let us say. It is not really lighting up anything as an activity or as with any kartritvam there. But we can claim that something has been lighted up by sun, and again when it goes into shadow and all that, it is not lighted up. Just because the sun is eclipsed, it doesn't mean that it has lost its Swarupa also, correct? It is still bright only. The same Swarupa is still continuing. So, what we are saying then, why are we saying it is Jnana Swarupa? It is not because that it is lighting up any Vishaya, not on the basis of that, and that too for its own sake. No, that's not the point. What we are saying is Prakashana, Prageva Atmanaha, Vishaya Prakasha Sattva. See, even before the Vishaya has been lighted up, the Atma is already Prakashaha only, correct? It is already bright. It's not that only when it is lighting up the object of consciousness, consciousness is aware. The awareness is the very Swarupa of the conscious being, of the entity, to which everything becomes evident. Okay. So, even before Prageva Atmanaha, Vishaya Prakasha Sattvam means what? That ability to light up any Vishaya is there in the Atma already. That's why even when some Vishaya comes into its whatever realm, it is able to light it up. So the Vishaya Prakashakatvam is not the Hetu to say, or the whatever it is lighting it, that to the Vishaya Prakashakatvam for one's own sake also is not there. In Atma, it is just Swayam Jyoti, it keeps shining. It is awareness. So otherwise what will happen? Anyatha Vikaritva-upapattih. Otherwise what will happen? Only when the Atma is lighting up or shining on something, it has this awareness or consciousness or the light, let us say. The light of consciousness is there. Otherwise it is not there. It will become, correct? That will become a vikara. It will become a change or modification. But that's not how it is, correct? So, kintu bhati iti vyavahara vishayatva yogyatvam vishayasya janayati iti hetoho. So, what is it? Then it is, there is no vikara. Atma is always having this light of consciousness. But when the Vishaya comes, then it lights it up. Correct? It lights it up also is, we have to put it under quotes. Okay? So bhati, so anything which is becoming evident to this consciousness, it's all bhati. Means then that whatever becomes evident becomes vyavahara yogya. Vyavahara vishayatva yogyatvam is there for that, for the Vishaya, because it is becoming known, it is becoming evident. And so this Atma is able to produce that in the Vishaya. There is no change in itself. Understand that. It is always shining in the same manner. So it is also similar to the sun lighting up things, as I said. When something comes within the range of the sunlight, we claim that it has it has been lighted up and it is now, you can do something with that, or some activity takes place there. Correct? Like the lotus is blooming because it has come within the range of the sunlight. Something like that. So the Vyavahara Vishayatva Yogyatvam is generated in the Vishaya because of the presence of the sunlight itself. The presence of the sunlight is always there. Sun being bright is always there. So similarly, we have to understand the consciousness here, the Swarupa Jnana. Once we say this, now he is coming back, the Purvapakshi. What is he saying? Nacha idam vrittik jnane api asti iti vachyam. So what they are saying is, whatever you are saying, it is there for vritti jnana also. Vritti jnana also lights up things. Okay. So why can't we then say that vritti jnanam also is a jnanam? Means what we say, so that you can't say vritti also is jnanam, because even in the case of vritti jnanam, the Chaitanya Abhasa is the one which is lighting up really. Vritti is only enabling factor. Vritti itself cannot light up anything. The Chaitanya which is manifest in the Vritti is lighting up, we have to say, correct? So that's what he is saying here. Vritti gata Chaitanya Pratibimbasya eva tadasti natu vrittehe iti. So Vritti is jada. It cannot light up anything. It is facilitating, we can say. Okay, so when the manovritti happens, when the mind goes out and takes the form of the object, we say, correct? That is the manovritti. Then what happens? Whatever Chaitanya which is manifest in the manovritti and whatever Chaitanya which is also manifest as the Vishaya, they are in sync. And that is how Pratyaksha takes place. This is how we understand Pratyaksha. The vritti itself is not really lighting up. The vritti gata Chaitanya Pratibimba or Chaitanya Abhasa, we have to say, is the one which is having this ability. That's why vritti jnanam, when we say vritti is still jada, the jnanam amsha in that is really Chaitanya Abhasa. Okay. This is one way. Otherwise, he is saying another way also we can understand. What? Yadva Atma Swarupam Jnanam Pramatre Eva Vishayam Prakashayati. Okay, the Swarupa Jnana, we can say in another way, if you have to say, it is lighting up things for the sake of the knower. Okay, Pramatre Eva Vishayam Prakashayati. So, for the sake of the Pramata or the knower, it is lighting up things. Okay. And therefore, what? Nacha Deepadiva Jadatvam Tasya. Therefore, it is not Jada like the Deepa. Why? Because Pramatuhu Atmani Kalpitatvena Atmanaha Eva Kenachit Visheshena Yogat Pramatritva Sambhavena Cha Atma Anyatva Abhavat Pramatuhu. Okay, so what we are saying, let us go by your definition that if it lights up things for its own sake, it is jnanam or jnata. It is jnata. Jnata is the one who lights up things for his own sake and all that. Here what we are saying is the pramata or the knower, for whose sake the Swarupa Jnanam is lighting up the Vishaya, is not something separate from the Atma. Correct? The Pramata is Atma, but Atma is not Pramata. We have to understand that. That inequality should be clear. So the Pramata is not somebody who is separate from your own Atma. It is Kalpita on the Atma only. The Pramata appears in the Atma. And how means due to some adhyasa, correct? Due to adhyasika sambandha with the Anthakarana, the Pramata appears. Because even the Pramata traditionally we say is what? The Anthakarana Upahita Chaitanyam or Anthakarana Vishishta Chaitanyam is the Pramata. So Anthakarana Vishishta Chaitanyam Pramata, Anthakarana Upahita Chaitanyam Sakshi and all we say. So this Sambandha, correct? Yoga, he is saying, correct? Kenachit Visheshena Yoga Pramatritva Sambhavena. So the Pramatritva is possible because there is a union or whatever mixing up between Atma and this Antakarana. So there is Anyonya Adhyasa, that because of that only Pramatritvam itself is Kalpita on the Atma, and therefore Atma Anyatva Abhava. So Pramata cannot be said that it is completely different from the Atma. That is the Anubhava of everybody also, right? Everybody takes Pramata or the knower as I. But Deepa is not like that. Deepa is lighting up for the sake of somebody else. Therefore, you can say that Deepa is Jada. Why? Because Anyasmai Vishaya Prakashakaha Bhavatu Deepaha Jadaha. So the Deepa which is lighting up things for the sake of others is Jada. So that is said here. But Swasmai Eva Pramatri Bhutaya Vishaya Prakashakam tu Atma Swarupa Jnanam Natu Jadamiti. So, but in this case, this Atma Swarupa Jnanam is lighting up things for its own sake, you can say, because the Pramata is not separate from the Swarupa Bhuta Jnana. Therefore, it is doing what Swasmai Prakashakatvam is there, and therefore it is not Jadam. Okay, so this way we can look at it, but here we have to have a certain understanding that the Pramata is only Adhyasika. It appears in Atma, and that way the Pramata is not different from Atma. So what, therefore what, Tasmad Ajadaha Pi Pramata Nyatritvad Vikaritvena Akutasthaha Anatma Ajadaha Pi Jnanatvad Avikaritvena Kutasthaha Sakshi Pratyagatma iti na Atmanaha na Jnana Ashrayatvam Kintu Jnana Swarupatvam eva. Okay, but still what? We have to differentiate between the Pramata and Atma, the Pratyagatma. So he is differentiating that what? Pramata also can be called Ajada, but it has Jnatritwadi Vikara. Okay, the Vikaritvam is happening. In fact, that Jnatritwadi Vikaritvam is the Antakarana Dharma there. Okay, so Pramata is the one who is having that Vikaritvam is there, Jnatritwadi Vikaritvam. Therefore, it is Akutastaha, it is Anatma only, really speaking. That way, if you see it, because that Vikaritvam is the Vikaritva Amsha of the Pramata is in the Anatma Antakarana. But still, Aupacharikam is there. Figuratively, we can still say it is Ajada because the Chaitanya Abhasa is manifest there. But really speaking, Ajadopi Jnanatvad Avikaritvena Kutastaha Sakshi Pratyagatma. The Pratyagatma is the Sakshi. It is the really Ajada and it does not have any Vikara, correct? It is Jnana and it is Avikari. Kutastaha, Kute Tishtati iti Kutastaha. It is like the anvil which does not undergo any change in the blacksmith shop, correct? Everything else is kept on the anvil and shaped and hit and all that. The anvil remains as it is, unchanging. So Kutastaha, Kute Tishtati iti, Kutastaha means that which is there, unchanging. And that is Pratyagatma. And that does not have any Jnana Ashrayatvam. That is all there in the Jnata, you can say Jnana Ashrayatvam is there. But Pratyagatma remains as it is. And for it, Jnana is its very Swarupa. Kintu Jnana Swarupatvam eva. So for the Pramata, you can say Jnana Ashrayatvam is there because the Jnana itself is the Jnana, whatever we call Jnana or the Chaitanya Abhasa itself is a Dharma which is there, which is coming to it. Okay. So that's how we have to understand. So here, Nityatvam tu Pratyagatmanaha eva, natu Kartratmanaha Pramatri-namakasya. So here again, Nityatvam is there only for the Pratyagatma. Okay. The innermost self is the one which is unchanging and it is remaining as it is. For the Pramata, who is a Karta, correct, who is the Ashraya for the Jnana Kriya, there is Vikaritvam, therefore it is Anitya, and also it is not there always. In deep sleep, the Pramata also is gone, because the Pramatritvam itself is coming only with the association of the Antakarana. If the Antakarana is resolved, there is no Pramata also. So the Pramatritvam in Atma also comes and goes, but Atma is always Jnana Swarupaha, it is shining as it is. So it is like saying sun does not shine anymore once it is eclipsed. That doesn't mean that sun has lost its brightness or anything, right? It is still the same sun. From the standpoint of some other object and all that, you are saying that that object is not anymore lighted up, means you are saying sun is not lighting it up. Is that clear? So here this Atma is Avikari and Nitya, Pramata is Vikari and Anitya. Okay. Once we say this, what? Then they may say, then, but how can this moksha purusha, whoever is mukta also, correct? The jnani also is a pramata. So, then is he really jnani or not? This is a big problem always. How do we understand Jivan Muktaha? Means Jivan Mukta is the, you can say, the bridge between this Vyavahara and Paramartha, correct? Jivan Mukta is one who has understood the Paramartha but being in the Vyavahara. So one who has done that quantum jump, you can say, and in quantum jump, they say that that electron is there at the same time in both places, correct? Something like that we have to understand. So the Jivan Mukta is at the same time in Paramartha also and in Vyavahara. That is the beauty. So he is saying nahi pramatuhu upadihi antakaranam muktau asti yena pramata muktau syat. Okay, so this is from the paramarthika drishti. Okay, the jnani has understood that I am not even a knower. You know that you are not a knower. It may seem contradictory, but that's how it is, correct? So I don't even have the upadhi which makes me the knower. That is my reality. So from the paramartha drishti, we can say that the jnani can say, even while I am knowing, I am not the knower. Tasya kartaram apimam vidya akartaram avyayam, Bhagavan says. Similarly, in the fifth chapter, Pashyan, Shrinvan, Sprishan, Jigran, Ashnan, Gachan, Swapan, Swasan, Pralapan, Visrijan, Grinnan, Unmishan, Nimishan, Napi, Indriyani, Indriyartheshu, Vartantaiti, Dharayan, Brahman, Yadaya, Karmani. Like that, Bhagavan beautifully he says, even while you are doing all these activities, seeing, hearing, etc., you are Brahman. Okay? All these activities are happening, but all these upadhis are not really, they cannot touch me, correct? I am untouched by any activity which is happening in any upadhi, and they cannot make me modified in any manner. I am always of the same nature of this consciousness that never goes away, regardless of whether any upadhi is there or whether it is active or not, etc., whether it is resolved, none of that really matters. So therefore, in mukti, also pramatritvam continues really. Understand that. That is the point. The Jivan Muktaha is Pramata Iva. We have to say there. The Ivakara is very important. But this Vishishtadvaitin say they call some Nitya Surayaha and all that. Okay, they have the concept of Nitya Suris. They remain Pramata even in Mukti and all that. That cannot be accepted by us because the Pramatritvam is only Upadhikritam for us. It's not there in my Swarupa. Okay. Then what? Nacha antakarana vishishtam pramata iva antakarana upahitaha pratyagatma api muktau na bhavishyati eva antakarana abhavasya tulyatvad vachyam. Okay, now what they are saying? He's saying, you are saying antakarana vishishta is pramata. See, antakarana vishishta chaitanya is pramata, and this Antakarana Vishishta Pramata is not there in Mukta Avastha. Then we have to say the Antakarana Upahita Pratyegatma, whom you are calling Sakshi, also is not there in Mukta Avastha. Pratyegatma itself will not be there. You will become like a Shunyavadi is their contention, correct? Because all these Dvaitins accuse the Advaitin as Prachanna Bauddha. So we are all veiled Buddhists. In fact, we are the greatest Sadvadis. Understand that. The Advaitin cannot accept any kind of abhava or non-existence. These Dvaitins and Vishishtadvaitins are actually Prachanna Bodha because they all have some kind of a Asat Karya Vada, correct? Karya was not there and it got produced. We don't accept that. We are the ultimate Sadvadis. Everything is Sat Sat only. Nasato vidyate bhavaha, na bhavo vidyate sataha. So, Sat is always there and it can never go away. Even any appearance also has to be there potentially in the Sat. That is what we are saying. So, this accusation is because of not understanding. So, what they are saying is the Pratyagatma also will not be there. If you say the Vishishta Antakarana Vishishta Chaitanya is not there, Antakarana Upahita Chaitanya also should not be there in the Mukta Purusha because the Antakarana is not there to condition it. So Antakarana Abhavasya Tulyatvat iti Vachyam iti na Vachyam. So na Vachyam you have to take, na is there in the beginning. So they are saying Antakarana Abhava in Antakarana is not there. That being the same, both Vishishta and Upahita cannot be there. That is fine. See, the Upahita Chaitanya may not be there. We can also accept that because even Sakshi also is Vyavaharika Drishtya only. But the Chaitanya has to be there, correct? That cannot go anywhere. That's what we are saying. So he is now again showing that with the analogy of space. So what he is saying, Visheshana Abhavadeva Vishishtasya Abhava. So if the Visheshana is not there, Vishishta is not there. It is no more Vishishta. Similarly, Upadhi Abhavatu na Upahita Abhavaha. If the Upadhi is not there, that which was conditioned is not there, you cannot say. Why? What he is saying is, Yatha Rupa Vishishtaha Ghataha Ityatra Rupa Abhave Ghata Abhavaha. So again you say this, the Ghata itself is a form, correct? If that form is gone, Ghata is not there, you can say. So Rupa Vishishta Ghataha will be gone if the Rupa is gone. So the Visheshya is gone, but it cannot be said for the same thing with reference to the Ghata Akasha, correct? So he is saying Ghata Upahitam Nabhaha Ityatra Ghata Abhavena Akasha Abhavaha is not there, correct? So that you cannot say Tadvat. So this is the important thing. Even if the Upadhi is not there, it may not be Upahitam, but whatever was there, it is still there. The Chaitanya is there as it is, space is there as it is. The Ghata may have been destroyed, but Ghata Kasha, maybe we can say figuratively that it has merged with the Mahakasha. But what was really there was only Mahakasha, correct? Even the Ghata was there in the Akasha to start with. So therefore, there is no question of the Akasha getting destroyed or anything because the Ghata got destroyed. So that is how we have to understand. So whatever you say doesn't make any sense. Okay, then what? Vastutastu Vishishte Pramatari Yaha Visheshya Amshaha Chaitanya Rupaha Tasya Mukto Api Na Badhaha. So even see another way if we look at it, if you say Ghata is having the Rupa, etc. But Ghata is really clay. If you see it as the Karana, then clay is always there. Even if the Ghata Rupa is gone, you may say that Ghata Abhava is there, but Ghata is there in the form of clay now. Clay has taken another form. So that's what he is now pointing. Even in the case of Vishishta and Visheshya, the Vishishta, you may not claim that it is still Vishishta. It is not qualified as a Ghata, or you cannot call it a Ghata. But the Visheshya, whatever became the Ghata, the clay, it is still there, correct? So Vastutastu Vishishte Pramatari, even for in the case of Pramata, the Visheshya Amsha Chaitanya is still there. That is the Mukta Purusha identifies with that Chaitanya, correct? So there cannot be any Badha for that. Therefore, like even the Upahita Atma is still there, even when the Upadhi is gone. Like that, even here, the Visheshya Chaitanya is still there, even though it is no more Vishishta. Similarly, the Upadheya Amsha Chaitanya That's what he is saying. So yata upahite atmani yaha upadheyam shaha chaitanya rupaha tadvat. So it may not be anymore upahita, but the chaitanya is still there. That's what we have to say. Therefore, atayeva pramatuhu muktaye prayatna sambhavati, prayatnaha sambhavati. So the pramatu is the one who is doing all the effort to get this moksha, correct? You cannot say it is like suicide. In fact, this kind of an argument they already made. Why will anybody do this, go and study this Advaita? Because it removes the pramatritvam itself from you means. It's like committing suicide, they say. No, it is like your identity has now shifted. It cannot be equated to suicide and all that. So that's why the prayatnam is possible. Prayatna sambhavati. One makes an effort to gain this moksha. So otherwise, how can it be there? So that's what he's asking. Katham anyatha swanashaya swayam yateta. So nobody will make an effort to destroy themselves. In fact, you discover yourself as the indestructible consciousness. Correct. That is the identity. So you cannot say that just because the Visheshana or the Upadhi is gone, the Visheshya or the Upadheya also is gone. It is always there. So this kind of a understanding is not proper. Therefore, what tasmad atmanaha pramatritvam eva badhitam chaitanya rupatvam tu na iti chaitanyameva satyam tad atiriktam sarvam mithyaiva tat satyam atonyadhartham vijnanamanandam brahmeti shrutehe iti sankshepaha. So what is the final summary of our understanding? The pramatritvam in Atma can be negated, but that doesn't mean that there is nobody there or it is now become shunya or niratma, correct? No. The Chaitanya Rupatvam can never be negated. The negator can never be negated, correct? So that is the Atma is there as the negator's very Swarupa. You can negate everything. Neha nanasti kinchana neti neti iti. You can keep on doing apavada. Finally, the apavada avadhi has to be reached. The limits of negation is reached when everything is negated and only the negator's Swarupa remains as it is. It can never be negated because it is not available as an object to be negated. That is the beauty. Right? It is always there as the negator Swarupa. That's why it is Satyam. Chaitanyameva Satyam. Tad atiriktam sarvam mithyaiva. Anything other than that, all objects of consciousness arise in the consciousness and resolve back into the consciousness. They are all only Nama Rupa. They are all Mithya. The invariable in each and every cognition is you. Pratibodha viditam matam. That's what beautifully Kena Upanishad says. Bodham bodham prati. In each and every cognition, the invariable is the consciousness is, we say, or the Satchit is the invariable in each and every cognition, pratiti. So in each and every bodha, the Satchit is the Satya. The particular consciousness is mithya because it is all nama rupa and it keeps on changing. So therefore that alone is satyam. Everything other than that is artha. Means again artha means mithya only. This is from Brihadaranyaka. Vijnanam Anandam Brahma also is from Brihadaranyaka only. So that Brahman is Vijnanam Anandam means it is not shunya. It's not that it has been destroyed. Okay, it is avinashi in fact. So that is the Shruti. This is how we have to understand. Okay, here Ramanuja is also saying something. Yad uktam atra Ramanujena asya jnana swarupasya eva mani prabhritinam prabhashrayatvam eva jnanashrayatvam api aviruddham iti tad asat. So Ramanuja is saying like the jewels are all there, correct? Or whatever precious stones, they all have light. And they have the prabha ashrayatvam, he says. Means they are the ashraya for that brightness, correct? That light which is shining there. Similarly, Atma is a Jnana Ashraya. Atma being Jnana Ashraya, it can be both Jnana Swarupa and Jnana Ashraya. It is not against, he is saying. No, that cannot be accepted. That is not correct. That's wrong. In fact, in the money Drishtanta itself is not proper. So that's what he is saying. Nahi manihi prabha rupaha. So money is not having prabha as its swarupa. Understand that. Okay, money is really parthiva. The light is only reflected light. Correct? Yena tad drishtantena atmanaha jnana rupasyapi jnana ashrayatvam iti uchyeta. So you can say only if the prabha is the swarupa of money. But in this case, prabha is not really the swarupa of money. Therefore, the drishtanta itself cannot be used for showing that Atma, which is Jnana Swarupa, is also Jnana Ashraya. Why? Kintu Prabhavat Dravyam eva manihi. Money is the one, it's actually a Dravya, it is Parthiva Dravya, correct? It is made up of earthly substances, and therefore it is having Prabha. That can be explained. And in fact, that Prabha itself is a Teja Amsha, correct? So he says, Manau Teja Taijasasya Amshasya eva Amshasya Parthiva Amshasyapi Upalambhat. Okay. So in the money, there is a Taijasa Amsha, which is the brightness or the light you are seeing, but there is a Parthiva Amsha also is there. That's why you can hold in your hand and it's a hard. In fact, mostly all these precious stones are very hard, in fact, like diamond. So both the Tejasaha Amshaha also is there, and Prithivyaha Amshaha also is there in that. And that's what he's saying. Katinyadihi hi Parthivamshaha Manav asti. So in the money, the hardness is there, which is from the Prithivi. Therefore, what? Tasmad ekasya eva vastunaha dharmatvam dharmitvam cha kvapi na drishtamiti kritva na atmanaha api swarupam dharmaha cha iti ubhayam jnanam bhavitum na arhati iti. So what do we say? The same thing cannot be both the swarupa and dharma. Like that, there is no example. You cannot give any example in the world that same thing is both the swarupa and also dharma. So the money is not the proper drishtanta for that. Your drishtanta actually fails. It doesn't have any samya. There has to be some samyam, correct? So that is not there. So whatever you are saying that this Atma is both Jnana Swarupa and Jnana Ashraya, that cannot be accepted by us. It cannot be both. Okay. And there is no drishtanta you can give for that. Okay. Another thing also he has said, which is very interesting. What is that? Yacha uktam swayam aparichinnameva sankocha vikasarham jnanamiti tadapi ayuktam. So what they are saying is, Atma is aparichinna. It is jnana swarupa. But when it is lighting up a particular object, then it has a vikasa, it seems. It goes and it spreads out and lights up something. And when that object is gone, then again it contracts. So sankocha vikasa is there. Okay, for this jnanam, and it can be there, even though it is aparichinna, then that also is wrong. Because if it is really aparichinna or limitless, how can it expand and contract and all that? So aparichinnasya, purnasya, sankocha vikasa yoga. So that which is limitless and whole and complete, where can it expand? It has nowhere to expand, or it can never contract also. Sankocha vikasa, etc. is not possible. That is possible only for limited finite things. Parichinnasya hi sankuchitatvam vikasitatvam cha yatha padmasya. Like even a lotus can bloom and expand. Then tomorrow you go, it has shrunk. Okay, it is in bloom for one day, most probably, or maybe couple of days. Then it will again shrink. But that cannot be said for Atma also is like that. Because Atma is there everywhere to start with. Sarvatra astitvam hi aparichinnatvam. So What is this limitlessness means? It is there everywhere, correct? It has to be there everywhere already. Then where can it expand? But they are saying, no, what we say as aparichinnatvam is really nityatvam. So, nacha aparichinnatvam nityatvam iti vachyam. So, these Nayayikas and all actually accept multiple nitya vastus. Okay. It is like the mathematicians talking about multiple infinities. It's a very weird concept. Okay. They even claim that one infinity is bigger than another infinity and all that. Maybe within the context of an infinite series and all that, they can say that, but that is a very limited view. Okay. That's when we talk about aparichinnatvam or limitlessness, it is like desha kalu vastu aparichinnatvam we are talking about. It is aparichinna in each and in whichever aspect you look at it. Okay. So they may be talking about it as nitya only with reference to time, maybe. But that's not how we look at it. Even that is ishta for us. We are not saying aparichinna is not nitya, but it is not the nitya in the way you are saying. Okay. Or there cannot be multiple nitya vastus also. That also we don't accept. So they are now saying what aparichinnatvam nityatvam iti means. That also you can't say. Why? Tathapi tava ishta asiddhe. Even then whatever you want, you are really claiming, it cannot be possible. Okay. Therefore what? Nahi sankocha vikasa rupa vikaravataha vastunaha nityatvam sambhavati. So there cannot be any nityatvam for something which is having expansion and contraction. That kind of a vastu is always finite and limited. Therefore, tasmad anityasya eva vritti jnanasya sankochadikam. So why we have to say this? The vritti is the one which is expanding and contracting and all that. Okay, along with that, the vritti jnana also is having that, but that is only upahitatva. Correct? It is not real. It is upadhikrita. It is only conditioning. It is not real. That's why the Upanishad says dhyayati iva, lelayati iva. Correct? Everything is dhyayati iva, lelayati iva. The iva is very important. Therefore, the vritti jnanam can be said to be having sankocha vikasa, but that cannot be attributed to the jnana swarupa. Therefore, what tacha jnanam na atma dharma. So the vritti jnana is not atma dharma really. Na api atma swarupa. It is also not atma swarupam. Kintu antakarana dharmaha eva iti nasti jnana kriya ashrayatvam atmanaha. Therefore, the kriya ashrayatvam is there only in the antakarana, and antakarana only undergoes vikara. This cannot be there for the jnana swarupa. Okay, so up to this we have seen. Further, Sudarshana also has said something here. We will see that in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.